Okay, so you've got two guys above the foot soldier. They're guys that coordinate actual poaching, and then you've got some buyers. What are the racial profiles of these people, and what can you tell me about them?
Well, it's a mixture. I mean, you have, Mozambican poachers often run by Mozambican middlemen and controllers who essentially control the poaching gangs. They, in their own right, are, smaller syndicate kingpins, for want of a better word, who then feed a chain of buyers, who act as almost as a buffer between them and the syndicates, the Vietnamese and the Chinese syndicates. In South Africa, we've had a problem for years where you've had a group of a fairly small group, but very active group of ruthless hunters and game farmers who are, supplying horn to syndicates via other middlemen, or supplying directly to Vietnamese middlemen. So it's an incredibly complex network with strands that go all over the place.
Where do the Vietnamese come into it?
Well, the Vietnamese, the roots of the current poaching crisis can be traced back to about 2003, when a number of Vietnamese hunters came into South Africa, applied for permits to hunt rhinos. Those trophies were taken out of the country, but rather than being kept as personal trophies, which is what the CITES Convention allows for, and which is what big US hunters do, where they take the trophy, mount it above a bar, and turn it into a bragging point about their exploits in Africa. These people took the trophies out, cut them up, and sold them off on the black markets in Southeast Asia, the medicinal black markets. And that created a chain where you'd have more and more hunters coming in. And over a period of about a decade, until the South African authorities started cracking down on hunters from Southeast Asia, they came to dominate the trade. You had large numbers of Vietnamese hunters, people who had never shot rhinos before, coming here, shooting the animals, often with the help of local South African safari operators, to get the horn out of the country. What that also allowed was for organized crime syndicates from Vietnam and from China to take root within South Africa and then later in Mozambique. When things got a bit tougher in South Africa, when police did start cracking down on some of the operations here, many of those syndicates uprooted themselves and are now operating out of Mozambique. It's a lot easier to operate there. The levels of corruption are much higher. They have protection from senior police and political officials, government agencies. They can, and they are driving the trade primarily from across the border now, although there are still elements of the older syndicates that are operating in South Africa.